Well, hey, you guys, before I get into this recipe video, I needed to tell you that it has been brought to my attention that I'm having trouble with my sound. It goes up and down. So I'm not sure what's going on with that, but bear with me. I will try and figure out what's going on, but I just couldn't wait. I had to do this video for you. Well, howdy ho, my friends, and welcome to another recipe video. And this one actually is full on vegan. We're not using any animal products here at all. Okay, this is what I found in my refrigerator. I found some mushrooms. This is about half of the mushrooms I found. A couple of pounds worth, I guess. Then I've got some cilantro here. It's still looking pretty good, though. I've got a few carrots left over. I found some fresh garlic. My extra mushrooms. I found some radishes. Okay, all right. I can do something with all that stuff. And then I've got dun 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 tomatoes. Oh lordy, do I have tomatoes. I bought some tomatoes. A friend gave me some tomatoes. I've got tomatoes. Now, I think I'm going to be able to use about maybe 6 of those tomatoes. I will probably take the skin off. I'm not really sure. But first up, I'm going to go ahead and dice up this onion with the carrot and with some garlic, and that's all going to go in some oil in my wonderful Dutch oven here, and I'm going to get that to sauteing. Well, the tomatoes and the cilantro are soaking and getting themselves clean. I'm going to go ahead and dice up the onion, the carrot, and the garlic. I won't show you that on camera because, like I've said before, I am a really ugly dicer. Now I've got it diced up and ready to put into the pot. You do the onions at a kind of a large dice, the carrots however big you want them. I like my carrots real small. That is 6 cloves of garlic, which was about, I guess, about a third of my bulb of garlic. 6 cloves of garlic is probably much more than most people would use. Most people might use 1 or 2. As far as I'm concerned, garlic is a food group. You could serve it as a side dish. I like it that much. So I went ahead and used the 6 cloves, and that was conservative. I really wanted to use the whole thing, but I didn't want to freak you guys out. So our aromatics are in there, sauteing over medium heat. And I quickly wanted to reiterate, I just talked about this in my last video, but I spray my oil now instead of pouring it or measuring it out. And I discovered that 10 sprays from this bottle equals 1 tablespoon of oil. So that makes it really easy for me to spray enough oil into a pan so that I know how much is going in there and I don't have to get out the spoon and all that stuff. This oil is a mixture. It's about 1/3 of the toasted sesame oil and then 1/3 avocado oil. No, it's not, Cheryl, you liar. It's 1/3 toasted sesame oil and 2/3 avocado oil to bring it up to 100% of whatever's in the bottle. God, sometimes I could be such an idiot. I just find that for most of the dishes that I make, toasted sesame oil enhances them. So I'll use this if I'm making something that's like highly spiced, like a curry base or just about anything. So this is my go-to oil. Once my onions were translucent, I put enough water in the pot to come within 1.5 inches or so. It's probably a little too much water. Because what I'm going to be doing is dropping these tomatoes down in there to blanch them before, so that I can peel them. And I just saw this on a video. I thought it was the greatest idea. This woman had her soup going like I do, and once it started to simmer, move around, she took her tomato and she cut it down the center like so. And this one is about cut halfway through, but a third of the way probably would be better. I don't know how well this is going to hang together. But what she did is she took the tomatoes and she dropped them down in the hot broth, and after a couple minutes the skin will pull away from the tomato, and then you can scoop them out with a slotted spoon, let them cool a little bit, and peel off the skin. I thought about leaving the skins on, but I don't know. I wanted to try this method of taking them off to see if it works. And the nice thing about it is you don't have to have another pot going separately, you know, to bring to a boil and then deal with these tomato skins. You can do it all right in your soup pot, which I thought was a really cool idea. I managed to get 4 of the tomatoes down in this soup broth. So I'm going to go ahead and let them do their thing until those skins start to soften and slough off. Then I'll transfer them into a bowl and let them cool before chopping them up. Okay, the last of my tomatoes are coming out to be cooled, and whoops. While they are cooling, I'm going to go ahead and drop in the mushrooms, which have been chunked up. Ooh, hang on. All right, there we go, that's better. I just wiped you off on my boob. Okay, so now that the tomatoes are going to cool, and I'll cut those up after, I went ahead and put in the mushrooms. I probably had about 1 pound of mushrooms in here. When you're making refrigerator leftover soup, you just use pretty much what you've got. So if you happen to use mushrooms and you have less, no biggie, you can fill in with something else. Or just make a smaller batch, whatever. So anyhow, these are going to cool, and you can see that these skins just come right off. They're a little too hot to handle now, but they will just come right off. I will be able to kind of crush them up and put them back into the soup. I'm so impatient. I didn't want to wait for these things to cool, so I peeled them with my owie little fingers. And then I thought, why do I need to take them out of this dumb bowl and cut them up, put them back in the bowl? I mean, hello? Let's just get a potato masher and mash the crap out of these things, because that's what they'll end up being anyhow when they cook down. Ooh, is that a little? Oh, I saw one more skin I didn't get off. I tried to cut out all the little center parts too, but there are places, a few little tomato centers made their way into the sauce. But, you know, it's no biggie because that'll all cook down anyhow. So I'm just going to give it a little mashy mash here. And I think that's pretty good. Now I'm going to transfer this whole mess back into the soup container. And going to give it a little stir. All right, I believe it is time to season this thing. And again, you can go in any direction you want, but I'm going to start with some of my special mushroom seasoning that I just got from the Asian grocery store. Now it's time to season. What I've decided to do is go with a tablespoon each of my mushroom seasoning. This stuff is granulated like that, so that's going to go in. Then I'm going to take a tablespoon of my chili garlic sauce, because I like my food hot, hot, hot. There's that. And now I'm gonna open this one-handed. I really, really need to set up my tripod for this, but I was in a hurry and I just wanted to show you, since this is just kind of a pick up and go sort of surprise soup. Anyhow, I'm going to put about a tablespoon of the tamari. So I'm not adding any salt, as you can see, because the tamari has a lot of salt in it. And once I taste it, if I feel like it needs something else salty, I will certainly do that. But now that I've got it in and seasoned, I'm going to turn it way down and just cook the crap out of it for the next couple of hours. I almost forgot about the radish and cilantro. I went ahead and chopped up the entire head of cilantro, the whole package, and 8 of the radishes got a kind of a medium chop. I was going to reserve some of this stuff and make like a cilantro and white onion relish, but then I thought to myself, wait a minute, the whole point is that I'm getting rid of food. I don't want to keep hoarding the food. The point is to get rid of it. So the easiest way to get rid of it is to use it all in this soup. So I'm going to throw it in now. Oh man, doesn't that look beautiful? I know the cilantro would be a deal breaker for a lot of people. Cilantro is one of those things that you can't be neutral about. You either love it or you hate it. I happen to love it. I don't love it as much as I love garlic, but it is definitely up there on the top of my vegetable pyramid. Just love, well, at the bottom, I guess. That's where you eat most stuff, right? So yeah, this would be a definite platform for greens and things. I just love it. I think the little radishes will also give it a little bit of bite. I've tasted the broth, and the seasoning I think is perfect. Don't need to add any salt, no pepper obviously, because that came with the chili. And it's perfect. It has that wonderful taste that I'm trying to achieve in everything now, that umami taste, and boy does it have that. So when it's all done, we'll just give it a try. Okay, so I just made some guacamole in this bowl. I transferred it to a container we can take to Grant's birthday party, but I didn't want to just wash that out, so I'm going to take some of the liquid here from the soup, and I'm just going to use it to, you know, kind of wash down what's left of the guacamole, and then I will dump this in with the soup. How do you guys do this too? When you see some little tiny bit of something that hasn't been used, and you're like, oh no, I can't throw that away. It doesn't matter that it's less than a teaspoon of whatever you started with. You can't. So I'm going to go ahead and put down this phone so I can actually wash that all down, and I'm dumping it in my soup. Well, I guess I'm not done. I love pumpkin seeds. I keep them in these containers we get from Costco, you know, that has other stuff in them. And Grant bought me 50 pounds of these things, and I try to use them in everything because pumpkin seeds are good for you, and so are sunflower seeds. So any opportunity that I have to throw some pumpkin seeds into something, I will. So there we go. Now I'm done adding stuff. Well, here's the finished product. Man, this is good. One thing I love about it, and I don't know how it's going to taste tomorrow, but the flavors are still fairly distinct. Like the nutty taste of the seeds is kind of separate from the cilantro flavor. Wow, that is so good. Now, for salt lovers, you're going to want to add salt to this. I'm not adding any salt because I just think it's perfect just with what it has in it. But you know, you might want to add some salt or pepper or whatever. But as it sits, this clean out your refrigerator soup is wonderful. So I challenge you guys, clean out your own refrigerator. See what you've got in there that's just getting ready to give up the ghost. Well, maybe not quite that bad, but things you want to use up that you don't want to use, and try making a big old soup with it. Then get back and tell me what you did. Bye.